Hello, welcome to our channel once again. Today we take you back to 5,000 years ago, diving deep into Gilgamesh and the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Islamic perspective. Without going much further, let's jump right to it. Our story takes us back nearly 5,000 years ago to the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, in what is now modern-day Iraq. In this land of fertile rivers, where civilizations first flourished, there ruled a mighty king named Gilgamesh. He was no ordinary man. Legend claimed he was two-thirds divine and one-third human, possessing unmatched strength, wisdom, and beauty. But Gilgamesh was also arrogant. He ruled the great city of Uruk, one of the most advanced cities of its time, with towering walls and magnificent temples. Yet, instead of leading with kindness, he ruled with oppression. He saw himself as greater than all men, acting as though he had the power of the divine. The people of Uruk suffered under his rule. He took whatever he pleased and cared only for his own glory. The people prayed for relief, crying out to Allah, asking for justice against their tyrant king. And Allah, in his infinite wisdom, decided to test Gilgamesh, to humble him and teach him the truth. Allah, in his mercy, did not strike Gilgamesh down. Instead, he sent a challenger, a companion, a mirror of himself. From the dust of the earth, Allah willed the creation of Enkidu, a man unlike any other. He was strong, wild, and free, living among the animals, untouched by civilization. Enkidu roamed the vast grasslands, running alongside the gazelles, drinking from the rivers, and living in harmony with nature. He knew no greed, no corruption. He was pure, untouched by the arrogance of man. One day, a wise traveler who had heard of Gilgamesh's tyranny came across Enkidu and saw his great strength. He told him, "In the city of Uruk, there is a king who believes himself to be above all men. If you wish to test your strength, go and challenge him." Enkidu, moved by a sense of justice, left the wilderness and entered Uruk. As he walked through the city streets, the people whispered, "Could this be the one sent to stop Gilgamesh?" When Gilgamesh heard of this wild man's arrival, he was angered. He would not allow anyone to challenge his rule. And so, the two warriors met in the streets of Uruk, standing face to face, each seeing his equal for the first time. Gilgamesh and Enkidu clashed with the force of two great storms. The ground trembled as they wrestled, their strength shaking the very walls of Uruk. Blow after blow, neither man yielded, their power matched in every way. The fight lasted for hours, but in the end, neither could defeat the other. Instead, as they looked into each other's eyes, they saw not enemies, but brothers. They saw in one another the strength, courage, and spirit that made men great. From that moment, Gilgamesh and Enkidu became inseparable. They were no longer rivals but companions, bound by destiny. With Enkidu by his side, Gilgamesh's heart softened, and he became a better ruler. Yet, deep inside, his desire for greatness still burned. One day, seeking to prove himself and achieve eternal glory, Gilgamesh spoke of a grand adventure. "Enkidu, let us go to the great cedar forest and slay the monster Humbaba, the guardian of the sacred trees. We shall carve our names into history." Enkidu, wise and cautious, warned him, "Humbaba is not just a beast. He was placed there by the will of the Almighty. To challenge him is to defy the decree of Allah." But Gilgamesh would not listen. His pride, though tempered, still clouded his judgment. And so, they set off on their perilous journey. As they ventured deep into the cedar forest, they prayed to Allah for guidance. The air was thick with mystery, the trees ancient and towering. And then, at the heart of the forest, they found him, Humbaba, a towering beast with a face like a storm and a voice like thunder. The battle was fierce. Humbaba roared, shaking the heavens, but Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought with the strength given to them by Allah. They struck him down, and as he lay defeated, Humbaba pleaded, "Spare me, and I will serve you." For a moment, Gilgamesh hesitated, but Enkidu, fearing that mercy would lead to regret, urged him to finish the deed. And so, Gilgamesh struck the final blow, killing Humbaba. But in that moment, a shadow fell over their victory, for they had slain one who was placed there by divine command. When they returned to Uruk, the false goddess Ishtar, who, in Islam, is only a myth, for there is no God but Allah, tried to seduce Gilgamesh. But he rejected her, knowing that power and beauty are but fleeting things in the eyes of Allah. In her fury, she called upon the bull of heaven, a great beast meant to destroy Uruk. Again, Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought, slaying the bull. But their defiance had consequences. That night, Enkidu fell gravely ill. As he lay dying, he had visions of the afterlife, seeing that all men, no matter how great, must face their return to the dust. He wept, realizing that no strength could defy the will of the Almighty. Soon, Enkidu died, and Gilgamesh was left alone. For the first time, he felt true sorrow. Unable to accept death, Gilgamesh set out on a desperate journey to find Utnapishtim, the man who survived the Great Flood. He sought the secret to eternal life. Utnapishtim told him, "You seek something that belongs only to Allah. No man can escape death. But if you wish to prove yourself, stay awake for 7 nights. Gilgamesh tried, but he failed. He was only a man, bound by the limits of his creation. As a final test, Utnapishtim revealed a plant that could restore youth. Gilgamesh seized it, believing he had found the key to immortality. But as he slept, a serpent stole it away. Then, at last, he understood. True immortality is not in the body, but in the soul. Man's purpose is to submit to Allah, for only in him is eternal life. Gilgamesh returned to Uruk, but he was no longer the same man. He ruled with wisdom